Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tailgate Talk. We're your hosts, David and Nick. Nick, we're on site. Say hi to the people.
What's up? It's a little new location.
Yeah, we're at a family Thanksgiving outing event, whatever you want to call it. We're in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Uh, Live, if you want to call it live, even though it's recorded. And we're gonna come at you with our draft for top rivalries this week. It's rivalry week, huge week, hate week, as some people like to call it. So we did a flip a coin type thing. Had our uncle pick a number between 1 and 2, and I won, so I get to go first. So with that, my first pick is gonna be the game. Ohio State, Michigan. They play at noon every Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna go with Michigan, Ohio State.
That's a good one. Always typically has some implications in in this case, the playoff era, but before always had implications in the BCS. For mine, I'm gonna go with one that's historic, one that's had some pretty cool endings to it. So give me the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. Just obviously just two teams that hate each other in a state that is very passionate about their football. So it's one of my favorite games every year is watching that game. So
The kick six
yeah,
out of the Iron Bowl, great matchup. That's another one of those. I mean, all these games, it's a you can kind of throw the record books out. It doesn't matter who's got the better season. Teams are going to come in and play their best. With that, another historic one that I think we both really appreciated. I don't think it's played on rivalry weekend. I think it's next weekend actually. Army Navy.
yep.
Army Navy. Yep, I took it from you, didn't I? But you've got the service academies going at it. It's just one of those where it's different. It's special. They come out with different uniforms each year to honor different aspects of the military. Just a really cool, really awesome thing. So I'm gonna go with Army Navy.
That was my number two. So with my second pick, as a person that's kind of involved in it with where I go to school, I'll take the Palmetto Bowl, Clemson, South Carolina. When you look at it, it's probably one of the most hated rivalries, just because, or one of the most heated with the most hatred in it, because it's ever since it started, students, fans, alumni of these two schools have just been at each other's throats. And I forget what year it was, but it was in the early 2000s, maybe, where there was the famous picture of a Clemson player kicking a South Carolina player in the head. There are brawls in this rivalry. There's a ton of bad blood. And I'm really excited to see it in person again. I've only been to one Clemson Carolina game in my life, and it was the 56-7 game. So I'm hoping for a similar result this weekend.
Oh yeah, it's even though it's not really been a rivalry. At Clemson 72-40 something, and like what, six?
Something like that.
They've won the majority of the games. Clemson's on a 7 game win streak. Uh, we're running out of fingers on the hand. Uh, but it's had its moments for sure. Definitely, I agree with you 100%. Hate filled, absolutely hate filled throughout the entire year. So not a bad pick. I had it a little bit lower just because of the dominance that one team's had. I'm gonna go back to one that I think every year I have no idea what's gonna go with it. They've recently changed the name because people couldn't say the name
Oh,
easily. So I'm gonna go with the Red River Shootout. Used to be the Red River Rivalry, Oklahoma, Texas. At the Texas State Fair, you've got half the stadium in orange, burnt orange, and half the stadium in red. It just is a really cool look, really awesome. So give me Texas, Oklahoma.
it's a good pick. That was up there for me. I'm gonna go out west, and I'm gonna go with the Battle of LA, USC, UCLA. Two schools that are very close to each other. They just played this past week. A lot of tradition filled there, and it's one of the best color combinations
Oh
when
yeah.
USC wears their red and UCLA wears their blue. So it's fun to watch.
I really wish that more teams would do that more consistently too. Like having Oklahoma, Texas playing their home uniforms. That would look sweet. You have Alabama, Auburn, I think would look really good. It's just a really cool contrast because these teams often pick colors so opposing to help differentiate themselves
Right.
from it. It's awesome.
I
totally
hope
agree.
they do something for the ACC championship this year. Where in 2015 when we met North Carolina last,
Mhm.
they did it where Clemson wore all orange and Carolina wore all blue. I think that'd be
Yeah.
nice.
I think that helped that Clemson was like the home team
Yeah.
for that one. So that definitely, Clemson knew they were going to wear all orange. UNC made that choice. Clemson, I think, is the away team this year.
So I'll probably see white on orange.
Probably is going to see white on orange is what I think is going to happen, just because Dabo likes to be a purist on how he does his uniforms. There's what my fourth pick.
Yep.
Fourth pick, I'm going to go with the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Perfect.
I'm gonna go with Georgia and Florida. Our cousin goes to Georgia. She was at that game this year, and said it was amazing, awesome. Came back with a bunch of shirts, I think, that we saw for our uncles and stuff last night. So it's just, if you've got a name associated like that, it's got to be a party, right? So I'm gonna go with Georgia, Florida.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Egg Bowl.
Oh, good
Ole
one.
Miss, Mississippi State plays on Thanksgiving every year. They talk about teams that hate each other. They do not like each other in the state of Mississippi. So it's always a fun, explosive matchup when they get together. So I'm taking Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Good one. Good one. I mean, you've got that iconic clip of the Elijah Moore pretending to be a dog out of fire hydrant after they scored, and then promptly they lose that game.
Shout out Jets receiver Elijah Moore.
Yep. All right, my last pick. I'm gonna go with the third Saturday in October. I'm gonna go with Tennessee, Alabama. I mean, this is a game that you've got pictures no matter what year it is, of guys, smoking cigars afterwards to celebrate on whatever team. You got Tennessee having that huge, huge win this year, where they finally got over the hump. I think they've lost what, 10 straight,
something like that.
Insane amount of games to have lost. So I'm gonna go with third Saturday in October.
It's a good one. I thought about taking that one. Last one I'm gonna go with is another Pac-12 game. Kind of spreading the love out there. I'm gonna go with the Apple Cup, Washington State. Two programs that historically have been a little different, but Washington State it's hard to recruit out in Pullman. There's nothing out there, but they have strong teams, and it's always fun to watch the hatred there. So give me the Apple Cup.
All right. So just to recap for you guys, I've got the game, I've got Army Navy, I've got what's my
Oklahoma, Texas.
I've got Oklahoma, Texas. I've got third Saturday in October, and I've got the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Nick, what do you got?
The Iron Bowl. So Alabama, Auburn, Palmetto Bowl, Clemson, South Carolina, UCLA, USC, Egg Bowl, Mississippi State, and the Apple Cup, Washington State.
All right. A couple honorable mentions too. This week, USC Notre Dame playing. Big rivalry there. Miami, Florida State, historically huge rivalry. Often that game was going to pick who was going to go on to play a national championship. Lately, those two teams have been going through some rebuilding, and so that just hasn't been the case. But always a fight for Florida. Huge there.
Speaking of Florida State. Florida,
huge as well. They play this week.
Tomorrow.
Yep. And then you've got Backyard Brawl, Pitt and West Virginia. Those teams only separated by 75 miles?
Something like that.
Nuts. Always huge.
Duke, Carolina, or NC State, Carolina.
Battle of the Blues.
All the triangle. I went to high school in the Cary area, so I know a lot of people on every side of that. So that was always big. Texas and being back, that's a big rivalry.
Speaking of Texas, you've got one that's been away for a while. It's coming back in a couple of years when Texas joins the SEC. Texas A&M. Historically, that's the game that was played on Thanksgiving weekend. haven't been playing it since Texas A&M left for the SEC. They can bring it back now that Texas is coming to the SEC.
And with Oklahoma moving away from the Big 12, we are looks like we're going to lose Bedlam, Oklahoma State, which is always a fun one.
Mhm.
But I don't know why they didn't play it on the last week of the year this year.
I don't know. It's the way the Big 12 did their rivalries this year was just kind of odd. There's also probably the last one I can think of is the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia Auburn.
That's a good one.
So I mean, you got plenty of SEC
Oh.
rivalry games.
Alabama, LSU,
Alabama, LSU,
Georgia Tech, Georgia, clean old fashioned hate.
Mhm.
Clemson, Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Clemson, NC State. I'm just thinking of all the Clemson rivalries. Clemson, Boston College,
Yep.
Syracuse, and being relevant.
For being relevant. Tennessee and being relevant.
Mhm.
They got it on. They got to win this year. They were relevant
Yeah, there you go.
for most of the year.
The Pac-12 and not cannibalizing themselves to get in the playoff.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's every year.
Oh yeah. So there's our picks. Go ahead and let us know in the comments who you think won. I think it was me. I think it was me this week. And let us know if there's any other rivalries that we didn't think of that you think we should have included. And as always, guys, go Tigers.
Go Tigers, first down.